Alrighty, hello there YouTube. Welcome back to Messy Hair. We put on a hat with me, Bruised here, where today I'm going to be talking about my fisticuffs. These hands are rated E for everyone. Thunder Fist, unarmed Amazon. So as you can see, New Year, bigger gape. Happy New Year, by the way. And today we're level 88. Level 88 Amazon that I've been running around with. This character has been a ton of fun. And I did not even initially intend to make this as exactly this build. I kind of initially was planning to just do some other things. So if you've played an unarmed build, this is very similar. I mean, this is very much so just an unarmed build if you've played it previously. And I know that they did nerf unarmed stuff previously, but we're using Hollow Palm technique over here, of course. That's what enables all of this. And then, of course, we are using Thunder Fist. Those are the two major activators for this build, for this playstyle. And, of course, do I know that this was nerfed? Yes. Do I still think it's very good? Also, yes. And I've been having a ton of fun playing it, and yeah, so I just kind of wanted to showcase and kind of go over that today. I've done 4th Lab with this character pretty recently. What I will say is a very quick note at the start. If you want to just look at the POB, that'll be down in the description below. As a secondary note, I do have a Rakiata's Flow, which I have been using, but for the sake of showcasing that the build is still extremely strong, I only very recently got and started using this Rakiata's Flow. So so just to kind of showcase that the build is still very good. Without it, I have swapped Rakiatas. It's just in Quarterstaff Strike up here, so we're literally not even going to use it. And we're just using Rage 3 in place of that, just to get our Rage up and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, that's the character, so we'll just do a quick map. And then, and after we map, then I'll go through the actual just kind of quick gear setup and notes. But if you've played this previously, it's more or less very similar to any kind of like unarmed Quarterstaff stuff you would have done previously. But it's just a lot of fun. And my map is doing the thing. Thank you. So here's our map, tier 15. I'm kind of scared of the extra chaos damage, honestly, but I swear every map I roll either hits like extra chaos damage or less recovery rate of life and energy shield, and it makes me cringe a little bit every time. But anyway, off we go. So yeah, our whole game plan is kind of to close the distance with both Shattering Palm here to freeze enemies for us. We have Charge Staff that we're using, of course, to both give us more damage and also just is a good thing for us to have. Whoop. And then we have Storm Wave for like to hit people from a distance. And then we're using Ice Strike as well. Ice Strike obviously being our main damage dealer, and that's also a good gap closer that we have access to. Yeah, that's more or less it. Whenever we get to the boss, I'll kind of talk more about how like the actual setup goes a little bit, but it's nothing too crazy. If you've played elemental quarterstaff skills, you've pretty much played and know how this works. I'll say it again a bit later too, but you absolutely don't need to run. You don't need to run unarmed if you don't want to. I just hadn't run it. I didn't get to run it, whatever it was, last league or 2 leagues ago when it really popped off, because it was really expensive for good reason. But it still seems extremely good, and I kind of just wanted to make it for the heck of it. But you can 100% do this with just a good old-fashioned what is it, bolting quarterstaff. You could absolutely set up a good bolting quarterstaff and still be in a really good spot. But I'll kind of go over that a little bit when I'm talking about the tree a bit later. I'm also trying more or less to kind of skip some content. I know that there's Abyss over there and whatever else, but I'm kind of just trying to push us along to the map boss so that we can just kind of showcase all that. You, Spirit. I actively still just do not care about spirits in the game. Oop. Whew. The only problem really that I've had with this build, I mean, outside of the fact that we're kind of squishy, we have life leech with by being an Amazon, which is kind of one of the things why I like this build so much. But the other thing is like just stuns in general are so annoying. And also mana becomes kind of an issue, but we can I'll talk about mana a bit later too, but more or less just kind of spamming mana flasks a lot while mapping, because everything is just so expensive and happens so quickly. Oh hey, speaking of boss. Now the regular boss is down there. Is there another... Kind of wanted to see if there was another checkpoint between there and down there. I don't know that there is. So you know what, screw it. We'll do it on this. We'll do this boss too. It should be relatively simple, hopefully. Who is it? Who is it? Oh, you. And there it goes. But yeah, it's Shattering Palm and then Tempest Bell, all that kind of good stuff, just for get our damage out. Ow, that was a really big fizz hit that I just took. We do also have Hand of Chayula with the freezing mark on it as well. And these two, hey, what's up? Ugh. Oh, yeah. So slow. I'm just standing there tanking that. Okay, there she goes. And there she goes. Very quick damage. Like, kind of our whole thing is basically just ramping into freezing an enemy, and then once they're frozen, just absolutely shredding them to pieces, and it's great. But anyway, yeah, just wanted to do wanted to try to push that to be relatively quick, just so we can kind of move into the actual tree and gear and all that stuff. So I'll talk about tree first. We'll go tree, gear, then skills. That's what I tend to do. Anyway. So first off, Ascendancy. We're doing Amazon in particular, or at least that is the version that I'm doing. And I'll talk over the potentially using just a regular quarterstaff instead as well. But first lab, I took the critical strike here. That way we can stack accuracy. This is giving us more crit on top of our Hollow Palm whenever we get around to that. But first lab was this. Second lab, I took the reveal weakness just for more damage. So that's like those like little sections that you saw on their health bar. That lets us deal 50% more damage against those targets whenever those bars are open. So it's a ton of extra damage that we're getting on top of that. Third lab is where I got kind of greedy and I went in for the kill. But if you are somebody who's like, man, I'm feeling kind of squishy, I'm feeling a little bit like I shouldn't be taking that right now, then I would take Mystic Harvest, honestly. And then get yourself some Life Leech kind of early, like this on a ring. Get yourself some Life Leech. Take Mystic Harvest, and that should help really kind of keep you alive in those moments where you get hit by maybe a big hit, kind of takes some of your life away. But then you can just kind of Life Leech yourself back up to full pretty easily and fairly consistently. So I'd recommend taking that if you're feeling squishy, but if you want some more damage, then In for the Kill is going to be just a further way to kind of really make Predatory Instinct kind of be really, really good. If you wound up instead going the route where you were just like, I just want to do Quarterstaff Amazon and I don't care about the unarmed stuff, you could drop the Hollow Palm stuff over here, of course. And instead, you could probably actually take Penetrate, and then you would just get yourself a Quarterstaff that has just a lot of flat added elemental damage and a huge accuracy roll. And if you were able to do that, I do think that would be that Penetrate here is probably on average better than In for the Kill. So you would just swap these 2 points around. And that's probably what I would recommend as far as the actual, if you wanted to use a Quarterstaff goes. But the rest of the time, though, I'm going to be talking about just pure unarmed value for the rest of the time. But that's just what I would do if I was going for the actual Quarterstaff. So leveling, though, otherwise we just kind of go over Primal Instinct. Going over here to the Monk starter nodes per usual. Monk nodes over here are really good, and we're very close to them. So Blinding Strike, Agile Succession, just for a bit more damaged attack speed tank there. Whenever mana starts to get an issue, take Conservative Casting, but otherwise you got Flow State, Crashing Wave, Essence of the Storm. Power Within, also very nice because we are generating charges and using them with Charged Staff, and the way that we're generating power charges, at least semi-consistently, is through Resonance up here and Combat Frenzy. So whenever we freeze an enemy, which we're freezing enemies pretty often, thanks to Shattering Palm and just Ice Strike being cold damage, of course. So we're freezing enemies pretty often. That gives us our power charge, and then we can use that. Power Within is also just good. More critical damage bonus. If we've generated one recently, odds are at least decent that we will have generated one within the last 6 seconds, which recently is like, I think 4 seconds, so it's not always up, but it's up fairly often. And then coming up here for Echoing Frost and Echoing Thunder, because we are chilling and shocking. If you get yourself some fire damage somewhere, you could take Echoing Flames also, but if you're seeing that you are igniting enemies relatively often with that, then you can. But otherwise, yeah, and then whenever you hit level... I think these activate at level, like, I think the earliest you can get is right around level 65 or so. So feel free to use these once you hit level 65. Also just realized how dark it is in my room. I'm just gonna leave it. But you can use these right around level 65. And then once you get to being able to use Thunder Fist, then I would say come over here and take Hollow Palm. But kind of don't worry about it until you get to that point. Distracted Target is really good too, because we are blinding enemies thanks to Blinding Strike over here, so this is just kind of goes hand in hand with each other. You also get a little bit of blind enemies here. You could take Frantic Swings also if you're feeling a little bit squishy, or maybe if you want to drop Killer Instinct. I'm not super sure on these nodes. I don't think they're that good. They're like decent, but I don't think they're that good. So you could maybe just drop these two and take Frantic Swings instead. And then we're taking all the crit stuff up here because we want crit, we want crit, we want flat elemental damage. You can use Penetrate, Rapid Strike, and Reaching Strike over here. Highly recommend getting these early so that you can kind of actually have a good amount of range to them. And the thing that I'm working towards right now is getting Energizing Deflection here, and I'm going to also get one more point and take Bestial Skin here. Just give us some more evasion rating. I feel like damage is really good on this setup. I've essentially one-cycled every single boss that I've fought so far, which I have fought, Trial of the Sekimas. I've done most of the endgame bosses, at least at tier 2, and so damage-wise feels really good, and we're still cycling very, very quickly. It's just kind of been, now it's just been a case of needing a bit more survivability. So we're going for deflection, going for evasion rating here, which is what I would do. And then, like I said, we're using, I'm also using Arakiatas pretty often. Since I have it now, but of course, you don't need it. It's just a very good tool to have. But if you have it, great. If you don't, you will still do a crazy amount of damage and still be totally fine. And if you are worried about if you are somebody as well that has Rakiatas, maybe you're somebody that's rich enough and has multiple, you could maybe consider dropping the penetration nodes. But realistically, we're dealing elemental damage still through Stormwave, still through Charge Staff, still through Shattering Palm, and all that kind of stuff. So reasonably having this damage penetration is not a bad thing regardless. We won't be able to penetrate with our Ice Strike we have Rakiata's Flow on, but our other skills will still be penetrating that damage. So that's kind of like a up to you situation. You can either drop those and take like either get more crit, more flat elemental damage, something along those lines, more accuracy. Since we're in Amazon, we just want to get more accuracy as well. You could take like Precision Salvo here or Finesse here. Get some more tank as well if you want instead. Like there's tons of options there. That's just kind of a pick your own poison type deal as far as what you want to do if you have a Rakiata's Flow. And if you don't, again, the penetration nodes are going to be really good, and I would highly recommend probably just keeping those on even if you do have one. But I think that's all that I got for the tree. Yeah, I think that's all I have for the tree. So with that, we'll just kind of move into gear. Gear is reasonably pretty straightforward due to the nature of Hollow Palm technique. All that we are going to want is evasion and energy shield. And we're going to want both of those things as much as we possibly can. So that's all that we're stacking on all of our items. So try to get just stuff that has as much evasion rating and as much energy shield as possible alongside some resistances. Squeeze in some more crit or damage wherever you can. I have an emerald ring over here with that just gives us some accuracy. We got life, resistances, flat added damage, of course, is always going to be great. But just try to get that. I have plus level of melee skills on my amulet over here alongside more crit and then just life and resistances. But that's kind of all that we're doing. Try to get energy shield, try to get evasion, life, resistances, all that jazz. That's kind of mostly what we're doing. If you get enough resistances from your gear and you can shove some of the armor vision and energy shield runes into your gear instead, then awesome, do that. I also have an increased accuracy rating into my Thunder Fists here. But yeah, that's kind of all that you're really looking for. Just try to get as much evasion and energy shield as you can, and as much as that you can afford. Something else that I would say, this is up to you. If you want to go slightly tankier as well, you could also probably take Subterfuge Mask here, and then instead just get yourself a really big energy shield helmet. I don't know how much energy shield they can get, and I also don't know how expensive those items are to actually like have. But you could certainly go that route. You'll still get a bunch of evasion rating from that. It won't apply towards the attack speed, but reasonably our attack speed is already crazy fast as is. So just the more critical hit chance there would actually just be probably slightly better. And Subterfuge Mask should reasonably still get you a really good chunk of both evasion and energy shield. So that's what I'd recommend as on that front. Belt-wise, nothing crazy there as well. But yeah, overall, I would say gear is actually very simple for this build because Thunder Fist is our enabler, and then after that, you're kind of just building yourself tanky. You fit in some damage wherever you can, fit in damage, fit in accuracy wherever you can, and then you just that's kind of it for your gear. So then gem-wise, so we have Crackling Palm, which is of course just that's what comes from Thunder Fist. So we have Elemental Armament, Close Combat, because we're going to be close most of the time. Blindside lets it deal more crit damage, and you could maybe even throw that on like Stormwave or something if you want. You could throw Blindside somewhere else if you want to. I just wouldn't recommend doing it on Ice Strike because you're using that more often. And then Culling Strike just for the sake of just randomly killing things as you're teleporting around and doing stuff. So very solid on Crackling Palm. Ice Strike here. Close Combat Crescendo 3 just so that you're attacking more things kind of in an area. Armaments 2, Rapid Attacks 2, and then like I said, Rage is what I was using for a very long time, but reasonably what I was doing when with my Rakiatas setup is just doing something like this. Now I have Rakiatas here, I would use Stormwave instead to generate my Rage, so kind of just throw out a couple of Stormwaves, get your Rage built, and then jump in with Ice Strike. And that will do a lot of damage, but otherwise, just do that. Stormwave over here, once again, Rapid Attacks, Elemental Armaments, Magnified Area, just make it bigger. I don't really care for the branching fissures thing. I think just having it shoot in a straight line and just increasing that AoE as much as possible is better. I mean, who knows? Maybe you like it more with the branching fissures. So I'll leave that up to every individual person out there. Close combat because odds are still pretty good. We teleport in with Shattering Palm. We teleport in with Ice Strike. So odds are pretty good. We're within close range to the enemy anyway. And then I was just running Lightning Exposure. Just for the sake of showing it off. But you could also throw Shock in here. You could throw Rage in here, like I was saying. You could do any number of things still inside Stormwave, and it will be pretty solid. Tempest Bell, more damage. Tempest Bell, just another extra button that we have to just plop down whenever we're against like a big target or a boss. Magnified Area. This should be Magnified Area 2. I guess I just forgot to put that in there. So Magnified Area 2, Close Combat 2, and Durability just gives us more hits on the bell. I mean, probably throw in just about anything else to further increase the damage. If you want to throw in more gems in there, that's up to you. Shattering Palm, same thing. We're doing Overreach because this gives us a huge boost to our area of effect. The less accuracy rating doesn't matter because it can't be evaded. The entire thing with the skills, it can't be evaded, so that kind of just makes up for it. We're using Freeze because we want to have the explosion and everything from Shattering Palm here really kind of help push push our freeze meter along so that we can be generating power charges more consistently with Combat Frenzy here. And then Close Combat, per usual. You could throw Elemental Armaments 2 on here as well. Charge Staff, Long Duration, Perpetual Charge, Close Combat. I don't know how much I really need to say there. Again, these are all very like classic. If you've played a quarterstaff build, if you've played an elemental quarterstaff build, you've probably messed with these. I would say also if you don't want to run Ice Strike, you could probably I'm certain that what is that skill called? I'm certain Tempest Flurry would be just as good as well. Who knows, maybe even slightly better, but I'm sure it would be just as good and probably a ton of fun to try out as well. Hand of Chayula here, though, like I was saying, so we're using Hand of Chayula here because It can't be evaded, which is nice. And then we increase the effect of our marks and whatnot, but we have freezing mark in there because we don't want to. We just don't really want to self-cast it, and just having another thing in there. So freezing mark gives us some more freeze buildup as well. And then when they are frozen while they have the mark on them, then we gain 30% of damage gained as cold damage. Very good, just additional buff to have. Something else that's cool, so we get charged mark, so when the mark pops, it will also put shocked ground down, so if they aren't shocked already, they certainly will be. Rapid attacks 3, this is just because we don't care about the damage of Hand of Shayula, we just want it to go as fast as possible, so just rapid attacks 3 for the sake of doing that. And then the other thing that was very handy for me, like I was saying, I was kind of just chugging mana flasks throughout that whole map, or most of the time, the game honestly was just chugging flasks, but realistically, if you put Mark of Siphoning onto our mark here as well, well then we're also getting some leech back. So against any kind of like bigger targets, and against bosses and everything, that we can apply that, and we can really just sit there and hold our buttons down, and we will be leeching faster than we're actually draining, which is great. So it really kind of lets us open up a ton, and we don't have to sit there and chug flasks and be worried about our mana. So Mark Siphoning, incredibly helpful, very, very good to slap onto the build, and that's kind of what we're using that for. Combat Frenzy, like I said, this is how we're generating power charges. Give us a chance to generate another one, more accuracy rating, and then just some vitality, just for the sake of just life regen is always a little bit comfy to have. Even if we have some life leech, having some actual recovery is still always something that's comfy to me. And then Wind Dancer here, this is just for more evasion rating. If you managed to get Spirit on your gear, if you had an additional 30 Spirit or something, I would probably say throw on Herald of Thunder as well, or Herald of Ice, whichever one you want to throw on there. But because that's what I was using for a long time. But reasonably, it started to feel like I really just needed the buff to evasion that we get from Wind Dancer there. So that is why I'm doing it. I mean, I'm only at 38%, despite having some decent size gear on. I'm only at 38%. We do get more evasion when we hit an enemy, though. I forget where that is. We gain more evasion when we hit an enemy. Oh, here we go. It's this one. Yeah. So Agile Succession with evasion on hit recently. So those guys will give us at least a good chunk. I think it goes up to like 45-ish% roughly when we've hit an enemy recently. So kind of just nice to have there. Very much so recommend just having Wind Dancer on, especially in the late game. Early game, run Herald of Thunder. Late game, run Wind Dancer. And then if you do manage to snag some extra spirits on something, maybe like your amulet, or maybe you get a chest piece that has it on it, then I would say throw Herald of Thunder or Herald of Ice in there, and I think that'll be pretty solid. But anyway, yeah, I think that's all I have for this character. This character has been just an absolute ton of fun. I have thoroughly been enjoying just blasting around with this character, and I'm planning to play a good bit more. But I felt like just making a build video for it now, because I really don't expect too terribly much to change from a gear perspective from anything else. And like survivability is kind of all that I'm building now. Like I said, we're getting energizing deflection here, bestial skin there, and that'll put me at level 91. And then after that, I have no idea, you know. Probably just make my way towards concussive attack after that, potentially. I don't know, something else. Something else to just kind of squeeze in more damage. Maybe even actually precision salvo, like I was saying too, just for the accuracy or something along those lines. But I don't know how much more reasonably I can upgrade my gear also before it just gets too crazy out of control. But anyway, YouTube, I hope you enjoyed just this quick guide. Like I said, the PUB will be down below, along with a link to my Twitch and a link to my gameplay channel if you are interested and want to take a look at that. Of course, that's always your own prerogative. I don't care either way. I just like making videos, and that's what I'm here to do. So, hope you enjoyed. If you've been playing this league and you're still playing, I hope you've been having a ton of fun. I certainly know that I have. I think I have one more build locked and loaded for me this league, and then I think that will be kind of it for me in this particular 0.4 league. But I have been having a really good time overall, and it's felt nice, honestly. It's felt really nice just kind of playing and cooking some stuff up. So anyway, YouTube, until I see you next time, stay sane out there, Exiles.